Hello everybody, and welcome to a pre-stream behind the scenes of something I wanted to review with you. Before we actually get into the goody good of the news, let's start off with what is going to be good for the future of this stream and our future games. So I've actually thought over some of the games that we are currently streaming together, you and I as the audience, and I figured that it's time for a bit of an adjustment. So let me see what I can do for you guys. 1 second. So I actually have talked about this in the previous stream where I was going to start doing one brand new game that just releases or otherwise has been released recently, because I feel like with the old games it's kind of time to move on. Not to say that I won't abandon them, like I'm not going to abandon the old games, so I'm just going to kind of shove them down on the lowest priority list and start streaming what I believe is going to be our brand new content. And we need to eventually move up to 2 brand new games, so that way out of our rotations of 4 games at a time, 2 of them will be brand new and 2 will be old. This gives me a bit of time with the Ghost of Yotai coming right around the corner. A lot of people have been asking me if I'm going to stream the Ghost of Yotai. Yes, I will. I will not 100% the Ghost of Yotai, but I will be getting around to the Ghost of Yotai. Thank you so much for the warm hug. I just wanted to, at the same time, kind of also let you guys know that I will be kind of adjusting some of the hours that are spent into the streams. So I figure I want to narrow it to about 5. I usually do about 6 hours a day, but I want to do 4 hours minimal, 6 hours max. So it'll somewhere stay within that frame. I'm trying to narrow each game down to about 2 hours per game. So that way it gives a bit of an inch for you to have a third game in for the day. Otherwise, I'll just do 2.5 and 2.5 of 2 games if I don't feel like a third one. But yeah, less is probably better. Because I feel like 3 hours is calling for a bit of action. I mean, that's a lot of dedicated time to both people watching, dedicated time to even me, and I figure that it's kind of like needing some adjustments. So yeah, about 2.5 hours per game, I think that's pretty good. So I wanted to actually review some of the crazy changes that have actually happened and talk about why people quit streaming, why I almost gave up on streaming, and why I'm not going to. Because after I took a look at some of the old videos, I wanted you guys to see like what I've been doing. So let's pull this up real quick. So I started streaming probably about, I'll probably keep this less than 10 minutes because I do have to get on with the gaming soon. Is that, you know, I have been streaming probably since January or February of 2025, and you know, I've put apparently 855 hours, give or take, into this, and I thought it was well over the thousands. I feel like some of the analytics have actually kind of disappeared, but that is true. I do you know, do more than one game, so 2-3 hours definitely sounds about right, you know. But yeah, 855 hours. I swore that I've been over the 1,000 mark by now, but apparently it's still less than that. You know, I've raised about $210 off Twitch, what came from the analytics of, you know, people mostly like subscribing. So about a third of it came from subscriptions, a third of it came from, you know, ads, and the rest kind of came from wherever the hell it came from. So I have no idea. But, you know, it's like when I did the calculations, it was like 25 cents an hour. And, you know, a lot of people would give up on that point, but I'm gonna tell you why I'm not giving up. And I want you to see the insane like changes that have been made, starting with the small things. As you guys know, when I start my videos, you know, I used to kind of like fuck up on the intro and now I have an actual intro, and it actually, you know, kind of looks really nice. It starts off quite pleasant. I usually go into a kind of like a review of the old games, or the previous video, and now we even have a schedule, we have notes, we have, you know, the about my streams, and then just kind of keep it very simple. You won't see all these little panels on your phone right here, but you will see, like, you know, the donation ones, the channel clicking ones, the wish list, and definitely these 3 notes. It looks very clean on a mobile app, so that's a really nice change. But looking back at, like, from way back in my first video, I'll probably review like maybe 2 or 3 videos, just so that way we keep this under 10 minutes, because I don't want this to be a particularly long review. When I started my streams in the past, like, I didn't even know shit about, like, you know, microphone equalizer or using of filters or any of that stuff. I started off my videos quite poorly. It was very poorly lit. The camera was like shitty angle. I mean, if you just even take a look at, like, you know, just how it kind of starts off, I mean, it was pretty bad. Like, you know, let me see. Let me get over to here real quick. Is that it wasn't very good, you know, in particular, it was just very shitty camera. Like, you could probably even see it if I, like, move up here. You know, it was pretty bad. That was like one of my first days I started streaming, and I had this whole crazy layout at the top, because back when Twitch first started, it just was so popular for you to have, like, the recent follower, the recent subscriber. But I thought over time, when I started streaming, I'm like, it's fucking messy, you know. I'm like, it's a hello there, era. It's like, you know, it was so messy, because look at it, like, you have all these bars across the screen, and you got this fucking window here, and sure, it was nice, you know, it was nice to look at when I first started, but I thought it was just too cluttery, especially by the time I got to, like, Outlast. There was, like, this one video in Outlast that I had, and I had panels all the way across the side of the video. I was like, fuck, it looks bad, you know? And funny thing is that when I even reviewed some of the old videos of, like, all of the games, they all started the same. They had shitty angle, shitty color, you know, shitty microphone sound. Even when I first thought that Deliver Us the Moon was supposed to be good, it had really terrible green screen. Like, my color of my skin and my hair was too, like, hollow, kind of like almost like the color had been stolen out of me. It looks very ghosty, you know. And eventually, when I got up to about Dark Cloud 2, I thought I did pretty well in Dark Cloud 2. You know, it was a lot, you know. Right about here in the Dark Souls Remastered, I tried a PC game. It was the last time I ever did a PC stream, and the reason why is because my PC is so fucking old, and I will tell you how old it is. This is a GeForce GTX 1070. This is a 10 series. There is a 50 series out right now, so there's 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. And 50 is like the current modern. Mine is a 10. This is like using a phone from back in, like, Samsung Galaxy S3. And right now we're at like 24 or 26, and I'm using the S24 Ultra. You know, it's a lot of crazy shit. Like, my fucking graphics card is shot. I cannot stream most demanding games. Like, yeah, it's pretty bad. The funny thing about it is, this continued all the fucking way, even past Bully, which I was surprised about. I even got up to Enchanted Arms, it still was like that. And then I got up to, eventually, like, the most recent 2 months ago, was actually where things started to really take off, especially Alan Wake. When I started Alan Wake, I thought I did an actual good introduction. This is like the second of the third video that I'll show you as an example, because we're almost at the end of this stream right now. Is that when I started the introduction of Alan Wake, number 2, I actually thought I did a pretty good job on it. You know, because I started off with the beginning scene of the game. It looked pretty, like, nice and clean. I had this really great introduction, you know, And then welcome to Alan Wake part 2. And that's like probably the spot where I actually started to get good, which was funny thing. This video was only 2 months ago. That's how much like recent it was that I finally started getting better. Even still past the Alan Wake series, it was like right around all these videos that I finally started getting good, but the audio on some of these videos very minusculely. You know, there were certain ones where the microphone was kind of making a cracking noise in the TV or on the phone, and it's because I wasn't using compressors or things like that that would cause loud noises to actually go down. I didn't know how to use it properly. Now I've gotten to a point where I can talk pretty closely to the microphone or talk even far away from the microphone, or if I yell like, oh my fucking god, you know, it's not like going to screech your ears out. And that's like finally where I think right about here is where I finally perfected things, which is kind of sad. It makes me a little sad because I've had 260 videos. I've deleted like 40 of them, okay, because the old ones were like really shit. Is that it wasn't up until this point, so it's like, what the fuck? But you know, if you really take a look at it though, like, look at all the massive changes that I've done. Like, and I'm not just talking that, I'm also talking this. 1 second, let me get this up. Look at this shit that we've changed on. We have a desk now, which we didn't have in the past, okay? You know, in the past when I first started, we only had just the bed, you know, and that's it. And ignore that, I understand, I gotta clean, I know. But now, look at this wall, you know? We have freaking, you know, nice design of a wall. And sure, it's not here to improve the sound, it's actually there for the visual. But you know, all of these things, like now I have this right here is the new green screen. So the green screen used to be tacked up to the top of the wall up here. You know, I used to tack it and, you know, I used like tacks and stuff and put it up in the ceiling. I had to do this every fucking day. But now I have this stand-up bar that goes in 2 different sections 10 feet across the damn room. And now we even have this in the background, which we didn't have initially, was actually the curtain, you know? And sure, I'm eventually going to change the background. Like what's behind me right now is going to be actually this. I'm actually going to create kind of like a stand-up like kind of let me turn this off so you don't see my feet, is that we're going to have kind of like a stand-up like divider, and I'm going to put acoustic foam behind me so that way it kind of looks like as if I'm facing this wall right here, you know, and that way it looks nice behind me when I'm not using the green screen. That will actually be coming up here on my second paycheck, not the one that's coming up this Friday, but the one that's actually like 2 Fridays from then. I'm gonna buy things like that. We'll also get a third light. The problem with the green screen is that it's unevenly lit. So sometimes when the screen gets really bright on my face, it not only whitewashes me, but at the same time it fucks with the green screen, so it looks really stupid. But you know, eventually I'll get that light, try to make it all fixed up. For now, I'm just using the green screen with the stands. It goes like 10 feet across the room. You know, I can flatten it with the clips. So there's a lot of great things that have happened over the years. And I feel like this is actually where the importance of me talking about why people quit is that people quit because they think that, oh, I've put all this time and effort into streaming games, and I never see my channel growing. Well, the problem is that you're not really putting all the crazy effort into improving your streams, you know? You have to make it visually look good. You have to make it audio sound good. You have to come up with your own introduction, your own style, you know? You have to balance out your content. Don't be just streaming the same fucking game every goddamn day. You know, yeah, sure, there are some people who competitively love Fortnite or Destiny or whatever bullshit they have, Minecraft, but that narrows out like 95% of the world. Okay, 95% of the world don't give a shit about Fortnite. I sure don't give a shit about Fortnite. I couldn't give a fucking goddamn hell about Fortnite. But that's why I rotate these games. And that's why I'm also going to start changing it to where we have 2 brand new games at once ongoing in the future. Right now, Ghost of Yotai will become one of them. And eventually that Chronos A New Dawn, which is kind of like a Dead Space copycat, is going to be the second newest game. And of course, we've got so many other new games that are coming out, but Ghost of Yotai and the Chronos game will definitely be the newest ones. I do have to finish Hollow Knight Silksong. I'm trying my hardest to get through the game as calmly as possible. I say that, yes, as calmly as possible. You know, and then we have like Lies of P, which I'm actually about to hit over 50% of the game. It's been like 3 videos in. I know I've only uploaded part 2. Part 3 is in the live section, but I will edit it and upload that one. And then I also have another video I have to upload, which I think is Valkyria Chronicles. But yeah, there's a bit that needs to be fixed. And yeah, we have a lot of games. I think the new games are going to be better because it'll get me kind of like out there, not just old games all the time, you know? But I will make half of the games old, half of the games brand new. And we'll continue the rotation. Sometimes if I get burnt out, I might, as like out of nowhere, once in a while, play like a different game that's not part of the rotation. But, you know, I'm not going to be all serious in it, trying to back to stream it and all that stuff, you know, back to back. It's not important to me. But yeah, you know, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. But, you know, I'm continuing to grow, continuing to always try to improve, and we're gonna have a lot of interesting games coming up. And trust me, it's not gonna always be old. I just, you know, had a bit of a stretch with my job and living situation throughout the whole time, but my end is coming with all of this buying equipment. I don't really have to spend as much anymore. You know, I do want to get an XLR microphone because the USB Blue Yeti is kind of a little sensitive and it's a piece of shit, has a lot of limitations, but I'm gonna get an XLR microphone, which means I have to buy a preamp for it. And eventually the final piece of equipment will definitely be building a new fucking PC so I can actually like stream better content. Anyways, I think that will pretty much do it for all of the review. Anybody who's struggling with your streams, I always tell you guys, watch your own videos. I'm serious, watch your own shit, you know, like, I don't care if it's like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Look back at like your old videos, look back at your current ones, see if it's even worth watching, you know? Because when I look back at my old ones, fuck. Like literally that's the only word I can say, fuck. Like what the fuck? But now that I look at the new ones, I'm like, oh, it's actually okay. It's really good, you know? So, you know, don't give up. And if it means spending thousands or hundreds like I have, little by little, it's worth it. Anyways, thank you so much. And I will see you guys in about, I don't know, give me like 15 or 20 or 30 minutes. I'll be on live. We'll continue a couple games and I'll be back the day after. So we have like 2 days, tonight and tomorrow, to be streaming. See if this sounds good? All right. I'll see you guys in a little bit. Bye-bye.